What's up, everybody? So today I'm about to show you one of the coolest, biggest aquarium paraphernalia collection I've ever seen. I didn't even know things like this existed. Like, this is just crazy, 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 crazy. So there's not really words I could put into this, so I'm just gonna show you and let you guys see this. This is gonna be awesome. So let's do this. Check this out, guys.
That's the aquarium that Dave posted.
Aquarium paraphernalia galore.
Is this thing not the most impressive thing you've ever seen?
Little tanks. It is. Look at this hardness kit.
Wow.
Holy cool.
Eric, what's the story in this one again?
This was actually a reproduction.
Reproduction.
I got that from Jim White, the guy I was telling you about.
Yeah.
It was a limited run. I think they made 30 or 50 of them, and they're numbered. Reproduction sold for $3,500 bucks. Yeah, Jim had two of them, so he gave me one.
Hey, let me hide this.
Oh, yeah, there's the man himself.
It's fine.
Look at that. Oh, yeah, there's
The
this.
hydro sponge.
Yeah, when I did the ad for, I think that was in 91 or something.
This is
That's
just...
what Rob looked
Yeah,
at.
who is
Who
that
is
guy?
that? Not you.
Wow.
I got pictures of other men in here.
All the fish food.
glass wool.
Yeah.
Check out all behind the door there.
New concept, biomag under gravel.
Can you imagine running us with all these fish tanks?
Rest-
Hey, I need to go pick up some fish food, you know.
Wow. This is the coolest thing I have ever seen in my life.
Ant eggs?
Yeah.
Tetra.
Yes. Look at these
that
big old
sand.
cans of Tetra.
And the big metal cans?
Yes.
These are before styrofoam boxes shipping fish. That's how they used to ship fish.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I have seen that before.
There's
But
one of
I've
these on
never
my
seen
local
one in
Craigslist,
person.
and I just haven't bought it.
Really?
The guy was just very angry with me, you know, and I'm like, it's been on here forever. I was like,
Look at
it's
these
really far away.
tanks.
Like, I'll give you $20. He's like, no, $50.
So
I'm like, yeah, but you're
beautiful.
really far away.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem.
Eric, how about this one? This piece right here. That's actually aquarium stand, isn't it?
Yeah, this was when DAS Aquariums first came into business. They would come in, there's a slot in the middle. This was built around a wall, and the tank stood about this high on it. And it was built in the store by DAS, Dutch Aquarium Systems.
Wow.
And I bought all the tanks and everybody out of the store. And all my fish rooms were built with used equipment, stores that I bought out and everything. I probably, all of our fish rooms that you see, I probably have, people hate me, I probably have like $4,000 in everything.
That's crazy.
Really?
Because it
That's
was all,
awesome.
you know, pennies on a dollar. Stand for $20. It's an oak stand.
That
you
is
know?
a still huge oak
How about-
stand.
Yeah,
How about
Just
this?
to give you an
like,
idea of how big that is.
When I bought the pet store that I bought, I was actually with Eric at the time when I bought it. And Eric's like, listen, this guy, like he apparently needs to get out of this building quick. And he's like, don't overpay for this. Like, this is how much I paid for pet stores. And so I go in there and I'm like, yeah, I'll give you $900 for the whole pet store. And the guy's like, oh no, I need 10,000. I'm like, well, I'll do 1,500. And he's like, okay, you got a deal.
Wow.
And it's like, whoa. And I would have never done that if it
I
wasn't
would've
for
never
Eric
guessed.
telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I
last
would
store I
think you
bought
could-
out, he was all Central Systems on it. And the tanks were drilled, you know, for the bulkhead fittings. And when I went in, I started talking to the guy. He was like, well, you know, this is the third time we moved. He says, and the problem is trying to sell a fish tank with a hole in it.
Mm-hmm.
He says, because if you don't have a central system, people don't want it. And he said, and he should have never told me this, he said, if I have room in my dumpster, they pick up twice a week. He goes, I've been starting to throw the tanks away because I know I won't be able to sell them.
Mm.
So I walked through the whole store, and he had 3 central systems with the vats and the skid
messed
filters and everything with the UVs and everything. And I walked around, and there was 75 tanks. Each tank had a twin tube power compact light, Core Life power light
Nice.
on it, T5. And I said, I'll give you $500 for everything. He went, $500? He goes, I'm selling the central systems for $1,200 each. I go, yeah, but you got to be out of here at the end of the month. If you don't have a store, you can't use it.
What are you
He
gonna do?
goes, $500. I said, you won't have to get your hands wet. I'll bring a crew of guys in. We'll have everything out of here in a day and a half. I said, I'll cut racks up, get them outside for you and everything. $500. and his head was still spinning. He goes, how about 600? And I go, all right, I'll give you 600.
Right, yeah.
So I got it for $600.
What a
I ended up
steal.
probably selling the lights for over $1,000.
Right.
We used them to get started, you know, with all of our
Just the
fish.
man time to drill those tanks and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. The holes were worth $15-20 a piece.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But he said never told me he was throwing the tanks away. You know, like,
Yeah, that messed him.
yeah,
That
he's
is a
desperate. you know?
Still.
I can't believe you got so much
That
stuff in
is a
the original
still-
packaging.
Right.
Yeah, that's the neat
Like,
thing
the
about.
metal
bags.
hood in the packaging is blowing my mind.
Yeah, I actually, it was the coolest thing of my life. There was a wholesaler north of the city, and it looked like he was a jobber. He took care of from Michigan to Georgia, and he used to do all the 5 and 10 stores, like the end caps, like sewing kits and army men and jacks and shoelaces and sewing kits and stuff like that. And it was an old wooden building and everything. And it looked like one day in like maybe in early 1970s, he had everybody the salesmen park their cars, and then they just walked away from it. And the cars rusted and fell apart in space, in there where they were parked. And the one building, the roof collapsed, and it was filled with all these stainless steel hoods and tanks and everything. So it was basically all weathered. And some of the stuff was in other buildings. And I went through there and found the pen plaques. Here, you could be the first to break this because nobody's ever seen this. If you look on eBay, you'll see people selling. There was a creature from the Black Lagoon, pen plaques ornament, and the ones you see are always green. Okay,
Right.
that was the pen plaques ornament called the sea creature. Okay, now nobody. And Gary Bagnall, who owns Zoom Ed, has the largest collection in the world of stuff of vintage aquarium products. This is the true creature from the Black Lagoon. It's black. It's not green, okay? This one's still intact with the hinge and everything, okay? What had happened was there was a remake of the movie, and Penplex ran a batch of their sea creatures in black. Well, when they did that and they put it out, the production company, the people that own the rights for the movie, came to them and says, what are you doing? You can't do that. Yank it. So they had to pull it off the market. But some of them got out.
Yeah.
This is the one.
A rarity.
And some of these are selling. I see them sell for $1,000 in a
Holy
box.
cow.
Okay? And people don't even. Gary Bagnall didn't even know. He says, "Do you have an extra bottom?" He goes, "I need an extra bottom or a top." And I said, "Green or black?" And he goes, "What do you mean green or black?" And I said, "Do you need the black one or the green one?" He goes, "What do you mean black one?" He didn't even know that they had a black one. But I know a guy who worked at Penplex and got me the whole story on it. So that's the original, the super rare creature from the Black Lagoon.
That's amazing. That is so cool.
That's enough. That's enough.
Whoa, all right,
You touch it.
I'm out of here.
Okay, you touch it. Okay, everybody
I
touch
have to
it.
do with my pinky.
Okay,
though.
all right. Jimmy, get in here. Okay.
I'll take that back to Washington with me. I'll never wash his pinky again.
It's gonna turn black.
I'll never wash it again.
Just high five the rarest swamp thing.
But you know, I always want to go on eBay, like the people selling this, the creature from the Black Lagoon, like that's not even that. This is just the old Penplex sea creature ornament. You know, that's the real deal.
Yeah.
So I feel kind of honored that I have like 8 or 9 of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All the other ones are in pieces though.
I feel like I could spend 3 days just in this room
Right.
to keep looking into
But that same guy, he had three different buildings, and the one building in the basement, I mean, it was like going back in time. I mean, the hair on the back of my neck and spine just stood up.
Yeah.
And what had happened was when a company came out with new packaging, he didn't reduce and sell the old stuff off. He just put the new stuff in front of it.
Wow.
So it got pushed in the back. And there was cobwebs on it. Animals got in it and knocked stuff
So like
down.
layers, like each one, you're like, that's the rare one behind it.
I had going down alleyways. I had to take brooms and knock cobwebs down. Everything just thick. It was post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
You know, me last guy on the planet coming into this fish.
Just
this
imagine
old
it's
fish
heaven for you.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I got to be really good friends with the guy. And then I says, you know, sell me some of this stuff. He goes, it's all junk. And so I had an SUV. I'd load the SUV up, and I go, what's it worth to you? He goes, it's all junk. He goes, how much you give me? I'll give you $100. Really? Okay. Come on back anytime you want, you know. And I loaded up just tons of trips and stuff. A lot of the stuff I got just the boxes, the master boxes of it.
Yeah.
And just brought just tons
cases of it. Yeah.
Cases of
Like,
it.
not only do I have the original packaging, I have the original case box.
Yeah,
the
Wardley burgers. I saw those.
This is
Those are cool.
basically the Rapashi food. It was the
Wow,
powder
I
mix you
didn't
had
even know
boiling
that
water.
existed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that
really?
existed.
This is
Rapashi form.
this has the whole header and everything on it.
Wow.
They were
Yeah.
still in the original pack.
Wow.
Look at that.
Sold for $3,500.
Dwayne Kitchell's probably gonna watch this, just like.
Just add me to your will.
Yeah. And if
Right, you don't have
They just say I can come in, I can pick one thing.
and I have people. This was a guy.
Youngstown?
No, Burlington.
Oh. NEC.
Banks, David Banks.
Oh.
He's like, hey, would you be interested? It's the whole complete setup from like
Wow.
1961, stainless steel tank, the hood and everything. Because I was at a flea market, I found it for like $5. I never find a great deal on stuff. I look for it all the time,
Wow.
and I have buddies that just find this stuff like crazy.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
so I picked it up for you, yeah, and he knows I collect it. So, but a lot of this stuff. Anton Lamboy, we go to the Interzoo, the trade show, and Anton goes, "I got something for you," and he shows up with a vintage Weisse pump from
Nice.
the 1920s in Europe, and he's like, "Here, you can have it. It's that silver pump right there."
Oh,
Meanwhile, we want to bring fish back, and we want to keep the weight down. And Anton says, "Here, let me get it for you." So he goes and gets it. And actually,
look at all these.
it's this one
pumps.
right here.
This is amazing.
You see the plug from Europe?
Yeah.
So he goes, "Here, let me get that for you." So he hands it to me. I don't know if you can free that hand up for a second.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, it weighs like 18 pounds. It's like solid metal. And I'm like, oh man, you know how many fish I can't bring home now because I gotta bring this pump back with
That
me.
thing is.
But
So
that's
is
cool.
that one of your oldest items?
Nah, there's some of the oldest. I mean, here, how about dig on this? Okay, there's a little piston in here. Produces the air. Put it in your window seal with the open window.
What? No way.
It's a
Wow.
window piston pump, produce air for
That
your
is
little fish bowl.
innovative.
Whoa.
2-gallon, stainless steel tank. Last time you see one of them.
That is definitely innovative.
So
Wow.
that's getting pretty old. This
That's
is
amazing.
pre-electric, yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So there's just so much stuff.
This thing looks super cool. I don't know what it is because I can't see it, but this thing just looks like it's.
It's an old controller.
Absolutely.
It's an old controller for God knows what, pump, lights, heater.
Wow.
Petcraft Aquarium control kit.
That's okay.
Made in the UK. But it's funny, it has a normal, oh no, the plug's off.
Yeah, yeah.
First moved in here. He had all this stuff in boxes.
But I still have, we moved, I still have a lot of this in crates out in the garage and stuff.
And
Still in the box, the long life pet product clock and stuff.
You gotta be able to see.
Wow.
Diatone filter.
Collecting something.
How about the old piston pumps had little air reservoirs?
Yeah, that's.
Little,
And now,
Pressure.
See, I'm lucky.
Pressure,
I'm
yeah.
lucky to see stuff like this. But
Right.
a lot of the stuff I'm like, I'm a guy that geeks out on this stuff, and I'm just going, there's stuff I didn't know existed.
Air pump.
Like,
let's make it decorative instead of seeing an air pump.
Right.
Wow.
It's built
That's
in
fancy.
white water, white
that
whisper,
is fancy.
white mist, air pumps.
well, Eric, if you want to go
Man.
YouTube famous, we got to open up one of these fish foods and feed it to your fish and see what happens.
I want to
We'll get all the bugs out of it.
Man, this room alone
Let's
makes
see,
them
if it's
famous.
vacuum sealed fresh.
It's a lot of these
I
have
want to know
bugs
what's
in
in
them.
this wood thing. This
Look
looks
at all
like
these
it's-
remedies.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you know how we do pH tests today?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this is kind of neat. This was an old
I've never seen
dial
this
of
one.
pH. You know,
Okay.
so and this was just basically a you put your water sample in there and it would change colors. Brand new one opened,
Let me see.
And all it did was magnify your water test, and
Yeah.
the color comparators were in here, so you could get it matched up. Kind of the old swimming pool tester type thing,
Yeah.
Unused, still in the original pack and everything, right? So now we just have a vial where we fill it up halfway with water, right, to test the pH. Imagine having to test your pH by using this.
Wow.
This is a Beckham pH
this.
meter.
Now that's a pH meter for you.
And what you would do is
Holy
you would have to
moly.
get your sample, put your sample in here, put the probes in here, and then don't ask me how I worked it,
Yeah.
but that's what you did to figure out what your pH
I love that
was.
it has a lock.
Yeah.
Don't be messing with this.
No, this is a
This
$20,000
looks like
machine.
Like a military pH meter or
Yeah.
something. some mad scientist.
Glass electrodes, the reference electrode assembly. Wow.
Yeah,
I wonder what
never,
the MV means.
I never
For the
got.
pH and MV.
I never got into it.
Volts maybe, because you're using electrodes.
There's where you read your actual pH. That is...
My, have we come a long way, huh?
Yeah.
You need to start some kind of internet thing where the next fish you breed that no one's bred, you're like, no, you have to get the pH of this. If you're testing with a normal kit, you can't get the pH correct. You got to get one of these.
Be hard not to play with these toys. Yeah.
Like they're just, oh man.
But yeah, that came out of University of Pitt.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so much of this stuff. I love these old. They're simple, but these are like turn of the century terracotta castles.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
late 1800s.
Wow.
And then when you start getting a little fancier, that's late 1800s, like 1900s. Then you start getting a little bit more intricate. You're getting like 1920s or so.
That is
You get a little
just
fancier.
the coolest.
But they're rough and they're crude. But you're looking at that. It's like $75.
Yeah.
And you get some of those with a castle.
That's
You're
art.
looking 125 or so.
Yeah, it is art. I exactly agree. I'm like, this is just super neat to me.
Like, I'm just blown away right now.
And then the
Being
original.
honest, blown away.
A lot of this you'll see on eBay, and a lot of times what'll happen is Penplex never changed all the packaging. So what had happened was they'll do the same ornament and they'll have packaging that they added the barcodes on it, but all the artwork and everything was the same. So barcodes came into play early 70s.
Yeah.
So if they have the barcodes on their new production, so
Right.
you got to get the stuff and it's always on the bottom. This is the original stuff before the barcodes, so you couldn't scan them. But people nowadays, they'll get something that was made in, 2010 or something, and you look on the bottom, and then the label will say, somewhere on the label here, it'll say, made 1974, 1974. It's not 1974. It's just the same packaging,
Right.
But it's
They don't really make items like these anymore. I've
used to make them into plastic cases
Yeah.
to keep them protected. Yeah, some of the stuff I even forgot about the Buccaneer and everything.
Eric, what's your favorite thing in this whole room? If you had to get rid of all of it and you can keep one thing.
Gotta keep the
Right.
monster.
Oh, okay, the monster.
Of the Black Lagoon. It's hard. You can't put questions like that.
Right.
How dare I ask?
Answer.
Yeah, it's
I thought he was going to say
Old
Jake.
heaters.
there's just a lot of neat things in here. That fish tank there, all those old heaters in there.
Yeah, I was just
There's
looking at that.
catfish. Look at the uprights are catfish.
Oh,
The
they
whiskers
are.
the feet.
Look at that.
It's made out of
Catfish
pig iron or
tank.
some pewter or pig pewter or something like pig iron.
I've
Some
got
kind
a
of
heater somewhere where
Solid.
the top is just a rubber plug. And I was shown one by another guy. It was a light bulb, like a Christmas light bulb inside the glass tube with a rubber plug.
Well, that's how these things worked. These all plugged into the one unit, and then the one unit had a thermostat. And then these were this is a coil and it's filled with sand.
Yeah.
And then they would put these in the different tanks, and then the one tank would have a thermostat on it to control it.
Yeah, he
And
had
it would
one that
control
I
all
didn't see. It was
the
literally,
heaters are the same.
And
imagine
they fill
those
'em with
Christmas
sand,
light bulbs
huh?
are this big. It was just in the tube, and there's a plug on the top, and there was no thermostat. Just 11 watts of
Yeah,
light bulb, which
Right,
is what
no
it did.
control.
Yeah, crazy.
pretty cool.
So we know what your favorite thing is. Like, what's the thing you're like, oh, well, I'm really on the lookout for this thing? Like, is there a thing where you're like, oh, I missed that and I've been looking for it for 10 years now?
Nah, there's just things that'll come up that are like, wow, I never seen that before, or didn't know they made it.
Yeah.
I like a lot of like the old Wardley's products and stuff like that, and I'll come up with something I never seen before, never knew they made it,
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll get it, even something goofy like this. You're like, wow, I never seen it,
Right.
Yeah.
Who kept that?
Right.
If you didn't find this like in an old store display, and a lot of those fish food cans, the old cardboard containers had a little punch out thing on the top. When it was done, there was no use for it, and you couldn't keep nails in or anything. I mean, it was a disposable item. Who kept it?
Right.
I mean, that's what makes it rare. There was no reason to ever keep this thing.
Right. Kind of like baseball cards back in the day.
Yeah.
But even rarer.
But you find stuff like this, and it's like, holy cow! Never knew they made an aerator connector thing, and It's like, they couldn't have sold many of these things. This probably went in a lift tube somewhere, to induce the air stone to get more water flow. But you'll find this stuff, you'll flea market or something, you'll find it for 50 cents or something, But yeah, this cool stuff.
I'm just speechless.
Pretty much. I mean, I keep seeing like, oh, I could spend an hour just talking about this,
Right.
that thing.
Gary Bagnall, he has a lot of an unlimited bank book, so he's got
Yeah.
bowls and stands, and these things I bought. I buy the ones that are broken. He buys the ones that are pristine.
Yeah, because these kind of tanks, they're not cheap at all.
Right.
No, they're really not. Like, yeah, the viewers have no idea like how much money some of this stuff goes for.
Yeah.
And some of it is just it's a bidding war because they're like, oh, maybe the 3 people bidding are never gonna see one again.
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny because I don't know if you guys have seen all these fish food tins back here. This one tin in particular, I get pretty excited when something new comes up. I've seen a lot of them. A lot of them I can't afford or whatever. But there's one, I can't even find it now. It's a mint green tin, and I'd never seen it before. Oh, here it is, right here. And this came up online, and Gary Bagnall, pretty sure it was him. He ended up paying like $135 or something for it. And I mean, I dropped out like $80, and I was like, "This is gonna be my Christmas gift. I'm gonna go 80." And it sold for almost double that, right? Well, the neat thing is, like, people were watching it, and then the next week, 3 of them came up on eBay. Wow. I got one for like $30. I was like, yes, So it kind of worked. It kind of backfired,
Yeah.
hey,
Everybody listed them at once, and I got one for like $30. So.
I've eaten this.
Really?
Eggs
I have it on
and
video. I have that on video. Me eating
Corey
that.
has eaten this stuff.
Because I remember
Would
going,
you do it again right now?
No. So I described it. It tastes exactly like when you're working on a vintage car and some dust drops into your mouth. That taste that goes on, like the rust taste for like the next hour. You take a drink of water and you're like, it's metally, and that's what it tasted like.
That's fun.
But yeah, I've tasted that one.
That's pretty cool. Fish Joy has that for a brand.
Wow.
There was a lot of companies back in like the 50s and 60s. A lot of companies that, even magazine companies, that only lasted for a couple, 2 or 3 years, and then folded. Same thing with a lot of these companies. They lived a short time period and then went out of business. Why these never caught on, I'm not sure. These have,
Tetra started
there's
in Germany?
fine white mesh on one side and plastic, like vinyl plastic on the other side.
Really?
Yeah, so you could see, you don't have to see through the mesh, you can see the clear through the plastic.
That is really cool.
So
like a plastic bag net.
Yeah.
They use some of those in like aquaculture and like when I'm taking classes on koi and stuff. He had some nets like that, but they've never caught on to mainstream industry for sure.
So did Tetra come from Germany then? Or?
Yeah, it's
I
a
did
West
not know
German
that.
company originally.
Never knew that. That's what I like about old stuff like this. You can find out stuff like that because it's not common knowledge.
Yeah, there's a lot of these old catalogs and stuff are priceless too. I use these, the collectors are big on these old catalogs for your references. You want to go back to 1936 Belts Aquarium.
Yeah.
And then you get an idea of products. This is mostly irises and stuff, or lilies.
What's funny is
But
I
you can-
believe more of this information than I do some of the information.
All
I
these
see
old
on
dip
there.
tubes and nets and stuff, You're trying to find out the age of something, or if it's real, if it's how
Yeah,
old it is,
right.
And then they put one of these catalogs out like just about every year. So you can, if you have a whole collection of them, you can find the item and then go back and see
When it first launched.
right when it first
That
came
is
out.
Very cool.
There's an original order
I
form.
could
in there.
totally nerd out on all that.
Yeah, there's those heaters we were talking about. It's just pretty neat stuff.
Rolling carts.
Cool.
But
1936.
some of these catalogs go back to the turn of the century.
Wow.
This tank right here, a friend of mine in the fish club actually had this tank, and he used it when he was a kid. And this tank is super heavy. There's like 1-inch slate on the bottom of this, but there's a sheet of like tin. It's built in. This frame it's like a rolled aluminum or rolled tin, and the bottom has tin underneath of it, and then the slate's on top of it. And there's been talk. There's a AHHS, American Hobby Historical Society. It's an online
I
group.
think Wayne Libel's in it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And there's been talk about, in the old days, you heard the story about using they used to put a hurricane lamp under the tank to heat it, and nobody could ever prove that. Nobody ever seen it or whatever. And my buddy that gave me this tank, he said, "Oh yeah, that's how we heated it." And he pulled the tank out and everything. He goes, "Oh look." And we turned it over. There's a big black burn mark on the underside of this where the heat rose up and
They
heated.
actually did it. There's
And actually
the
heated. I'm
evidence.
like, there's proof of it right there on the
Right.
underside of this tank.
Wow.
Amazing.
That would look pretty shitty though. Like, hey, check out this tank, but here's what we're displaying the underside.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
burn mark on the underside.
Yeah.
But it's under there, so it's pretty cool.
But somebody like you and us, that's
Yeah.
very
yeah, it's proof that,
Yeah.
that they did it. You know, there's the burn mark to show it.
That's super cool.
mind boggled.
Yeah. When I was a kid, patches were real big too.
Yeah,
the doorway there.
those.
Every aquarium club had a patch and trade them and stuff, you know. And guys had vests and pants and stuff, you know, blue jean jackets and stuff covered all the patches. Nobody does patches anymore. It's a thing of the past.
Maybe they should.
I was
something
thinking that's
different.
cool. Like we
Yeah.
should start that back up somehow, like
Yeah.
YouTube channels or something. Just like because patches can't be that expensive. That's the reason
No.
they did it.
Right.
So
Right.
that'd be
Maybe
kinda
it's
cool.
women don't sew as much anymore.
Right. You have to get an iron-on patch
Yeah,
now.
I was gonna say an iron-on patch. I'll do it. That's actually pretty cool. I might look into that.
Absolutely amazing.
I gave Gary Bagnall an idea of doing a sports, like sports baseball cards.
Yeah.
Do them of a hobbyist,
Oh, that would be super fun.
famous hobbyist
That'd
like
be
Rosario.
Yeah,
Ford,
yeah, they
stuff like
should
that.
totally do something like that.
And
That'd
you
be
know,
super
buy
fun.
trade. You know, do 25 a year, and you know, start
Have
with the
like
old timers.
stats on it.
You know,
Have like stats like how many tanks they kept,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
first
different
time
stuff
bred,
they
first time ever
bred.
bred. You know.
got the rookie
version.
Right. Right.
Oh man,
That'd be cool.
that would be
Just
fun.
something different. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's enough geeks out there that would collect this.
Yeah,
And I
maybe a
think that would
limited
help
run, it would just
perpetuate
be
the hobby
fun.
for the future
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Maybe get kids involved or something.
Yeah. So there you guys have it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Was an amazing time with these guys. Huge shout out to Sashimi Whiskey, Aquarium Co-op, Lupdiesel, and Eric Bodrock for all letting and making this happen. It was just absolutely amazing and such a honor and privilege, and I get to knock it off my bucket list now to meet Eric Bodrock, because I've been wanting to talk to him and meet him and his wife for a long time, because I knew she was working on Panagars, on how to breed them, stuff like that, so I wanted to pick their brains about some stuff. And man, awesome people, all down to earth, all just real genuine people. It was just such an amazing time. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and peace.